What up, this is your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're watching Lights Out.
This is Faisal Khan for Lights Out, proudly sponsored by Spartans Law. We're here in Coventry at the weigh-in ahead of tomorrow night's tournament, the Sky Sports Boxer tournament. I'd like to be joined by Savage Dan. Savage, good afternoon, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Weigh-in's done. One more sleep and then we're ready to go.
Yeah, 100%. Savage, it's the first time you've appeared on Lights Out. So sorry it's taken this long, but you know it's been a busy few months. Brook, Eubank Williams, Taylor Catterall. Firstly, the start of a new journey. It's been going now for a couple of months. How happy are you with the progression of Sky Sports and Boxer right now?
I think we're ahead of the curve. I think we're ahead of schedule as well. You know, we had a massive February. Obviously, the Boxer series is part of, you know, what we do and what we want to do for grassroots boxing. So that will always be a theme that we have, along with the household names and the big fights and all of that. February kind of spoiled us and made everyone think that we can have, you know, that kind of, you know, free, complete sellouts every single time. But look, I love this show anyway. I love the Boxer series. One of my favourite nights since Boxer teamed up with Sky was the super lightweights in Liverpool. It was just electric. Sometimes people don't have the same level of anticipation for it because it's not household names, it's not fighters that you recognise, but my oh my, the actual night itself, whether you're in the arena or watching on TV, it's excellent. It's so exciting to watch.
It was a fantastic February, obviously ended with a very controversial decision up in Scotland, in Glasgow. But in terms of the quality of the shows, the undercards, how happy are you with how things are sort of panning out for the new era of Sky Sports and Boxer?
I'm happy. There's always room for improvements. You know, we've had a little bit of criticism about our undercards, but all these shows have budgets, and when you have 3 shows in 1 month that have, you know, such big headline fights and such expensive headline fights, sometimes you struggle to build the undercard to what, you know, some people may want. But you have to remember, just, you know, 2 of those were free to wear, you know, just normal Sky fights. So I think we're doing very well. But obviously we have to, you know, listen to any criticism that we have and try and see where we can make it better and better and better, because, you know, if this is a sport that the fans kind of control, in a sense where if they scream hard enough for something, they eventually get it. And you know, if they feel like we can make improvements in certain places, then we have to be looking to make those improvements.
You mentioned about how you've received a bit of criticism of your undercards, but one undercard that's come under a lot of criticism lately is next week's one, the Tyson Fury versus Whyte undercard. Now that sort of another promotion is receiving a bit of criticism, you know, what's your thoughts on it? You know, your thoughts on the fact that they're receiving criticism for such a huge fight like Fury versus Whyte, and get your thoughts as well on the undercard itself.
The thing is, with boxing, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You know, we all know how expensive that top of the bill is. So effectively, you can't go super hard and create all the fights that people want on the undercards as well. It's a fine balance, and you've got to balance the books at the same time as, you know, getting the fights that you want. I think it's a great fight. Fury and Whyte is an incredible fight, and it's the biggest ever purse bid as well. So that should be some indication as to why you're not going to get, you know, 3 or 4 competitive, hard, good domestic fights underneath it, because you can't have everything, you know, and the chances are if you had those, you probably wouldn't have Fury and Whyte at the top of the bill. So as I said, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But criticism is it's everywhere in boxing, you know. Even if you put on a really good fight, you know, you'll get criticised for the scoring of a fight. You get criticised for just anything, absolutely anything, you know. People are there watching it and they have their opinions on it. But it's harder than it looks putting on these fights.
Brook, we're hearing that the next fight will be with Eubank Jr at 158 pounds. Kel done an interview yesterday with Talk Sport. A lot of these fighters are doing lots of interviews with Talk Sport these days, and rightfully so. There was obviously rumours going around that his next fight will be a rematch with Amir Khan. It doesn't look like that's going to be happening. Your thoughts on the Brook and Eubank Jr fight itself?
I've spoken to Kel about this. He likes the fight. He really likes the fight, but I think there's certain things that have to be in place for it to be agreed. It's not just necessarily, you know, the weight of the weigh-in. It might be, you know, what you get back in the ring at. So there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of complications to a deal like that before you get it over the line. But as an actual fight, I like it. Kel likes it. I'm sure Chris likes it. Everyone likes it. The fans will love it. So what's not to like?
When you sort of started this new journey, one of the faces of Sky Sports and Boxer was always going to be Eubank Jr. Now, a lot of people are saying that now should be the time where you should be looking for the likes of the Golovkins, you know, the Charlos, maybe even going up at 168. But in terms of how he's handled his career whilst being signed to Sky Sports, Boxer and Wasserman, what's your thoughts on his progression so far over the last couple of months?
Well, the thing is, he was supposed to get out, and then his opponent on October 2nd fell through. So we got him back out in Newcastle against a good, awkward opponent, and he stopped him to the body. And then he's obviously had a huge fight against Leon Williams, won that quite comfortably. And now you're looking for Chris to kick on and look for world titles. But the only problem is a lot of these world titles are tied up, and it's all good and well going after Golovkin, but Golovkin is going after Canelo. You know, he's just fought Murata at last weekend, so. It's nice, and you know it's possible. On paper, it looks like everything is possible, and Chris Eubank should be going after a world champion. But some of these world champions are not available. Two of them just fought each other. The other one's, about to fight again. And so, in the meantime, what do? Do you wait 12 months? At this age, when you're probably in your physical prime and you're raring to go, or do you try and find another big fight that's possible, and a fight that we can make?
Savage, what can you tell us about the rumours that we could potentially be looking at a fight between Hughie Fury and Michael Hunter on the undercard of Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields? Again, a fight that's not been scheduled, but that's a fight we are hoping that does get some sort of announcement within the next few weeks.
I can't tell you anything. That's the honest truth. I can't tell you anything about that. Look, there's conversations. It's obviously already out there, but as you know, with boxing, nothing is done until it's done, and even when it's done, it's not done till they're in the ring. Even up to last week, people are thinking is Whyte even going to turn up for the Fury fight? So, one step at a time. It's a fight we like, but it's a fight that, in order to make, again, there's more than one party involved, more than one promotion involved. Too many things to have to be sorted out, but hopefully we can get certain fights over the line in time.
Final one, what's your predictions for next week's main event in Wembley between Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte? How do you see that fight panning out?
It's a tough one because Tyson Fury is hard to bet against him anyway. He's been dominant for the last couple of years. Having said that, he's fought Deontay Wilder 3 times in a row, and sometimes it doesn't give you the best indication of how they deal with someone else. We've seen the best Tyson Fury so far. He's probably still got more gears to go through. He is that good. He seems to get better every time he fights somebody that's a real threat to him. Having said that, it does usually give you a chance at some point. If you land something, if you're able to put him down, it gives you a moment in a fight usually. So if Dillian Whyte's able to find one of those moments and capitalize on it, then he's good in, and Dillian's going to come, and I'm expecting Dillian to try and take centre of the ring and be a bully, because he's a big, strong boy. He's trained hard. So if I had to pick, I would probably lean towards Tyson Fury on a decision. I've got a feeling this goes 12 rounds, but I wouldn't be disappointed if I lost all my money.
Savage, thank you very much for your time. A pleasure as always. Enjoy tomorrow night. I know we will, and hopefully look to catch up with you after the tournament.
Thanks a lot, bro. See you tomorrow.